Hello, this is Olga Jevtich. I'm Miss Virginia Senior America 2003, and this is Fashion Notes. You are going to see wonderful, interesting lady later on. Let me just say a few words about the collections for the spring and summer, actually for the next year. And actually, what is the good news, there is not any interesting trends. Just, keep whatever you think is best for you. There is nothing really that outstanding. Like in every year, there is something you must have, or, you have to have that color or that color. But, bottom line is anything goes. What is interesting also is the emphasis mostly on jewelry, not very much of clothing. So when you have some, very plain dress and you dress it up with beautiful jewelry, handbag, and shoes. Well, speaking of shoes, I have to tell you, shoes are very interesting, getting even more interesting every season, because they're new jewelry, they call it shoes, because they embellish with the rhinestone, the bows in different colors and all kind of things. So they are really full of different accent on the shoes. So as I said, jewelry is very, and accessory is very, very important. You have to have a good bag, lots of jewelry, and there is never enough of jewelry and also other accessory that we have to have it. So I have to introduce you my wonderful guest. Her name is Sandra Baxter. And I met Sandra at World Bank craft show. So that's why I said you should go to craft show to find all these wonderful people, what they're doing. And she promised she's going to tell us her story about her work. She is from Oregon, but transplanted in Washington, D.C. area. And she will tell us how did she start working with this jewelry and connection with Africa, I understand. So we'll learn lots about her. Welcome to the show, Barbara.
Thank you.
Sandra, excuse me, because, I was talking to Barbara earlier. But anyway, Sandra. And welcome to the show. And I noticed her beautiful jewelry when I saw at the craft show at the World Bank, right. And they were just very outstanding. So I had her card, and I called her, and glad that she could come today and to share with all of you your beautiful things, and welcome to the show.
Thank you, thank you. It's a real pleasure to be here and to meet you.
That's wonderful. How did you start, working or, dealing with jewelry and in connection with Africa? And how did you, have you been in State Department or going to Africa?
No, a different career path.
Oh, different.
I grew up in Oregon, you're right, and then went off to school in the Midwest. But for the first 12 years of my life, I was a professor of sociology. So I was an academic, and I was very interested in women's studies and feminism and empowerment and that kind of thing. And but I also, at the same time, absolutely loved jewelry. And some of my friends thought that that was a little bit not in keeping with being a good, strong feminist, because I like to dress up.
Yeah,
so,
right.
So I went on and did the academic thing for a number of years. And in the course of that, had some absolutely wonderful students. And one of my all-time favorites was a woman named Jean, who's now a full professor at a university in the area. And she got a Fulbright grant, which is a very prestigious grant in academia, to study and work at the University of Cape Town. And so my husband and I, he's also an academic, helped her with the application. She got the award. She went to Cape Town. And when she came back, she gave me this ring.
Oh, this is your first thing that you
This is it. This is it. And as a lifelong jewelry lover, I looked at this. I hope you can pick up the color here. It's kind of cranberry and turquoise.
But it's a bead, such a small bead that you cannot even, you can hardly see with the naked eye.
That's right, that's right. It's made with seed beads, glass beads, that are imported from Japan. And it's made by a women's cooperative in Cape Town, South Africa. So she brought it back as a thank you. And I was so impressed with the quality of the beading and the use of color that I kind of tracked them down. So I got on the internet and found out a little bit more about them, and then
I see.
contacted them, and the more I learned about them, the more I loved what they did as well as what they produce. So I said I would love to represent your line here in the United States, and I was the first one to ask, and so I'm now the exclusive U.S. distributor of their jewelry here in the States. So lucky me, I get to wake up every day with all of this beautiful jewelry.
I know. So how do you work with them? Do they have some designer there? They show you what we are doing, and you said, you know, can you do it a little differently, or how does it work?
I would say 95% of the inspiration is theirs. They have a lead designer, a woman who put, I don't know how much of this lovely jewelry you can see, but she designs all of the pieces. She designs all of the color combinations, and some of them have never occurred to me, but she's right, they work. And my contributions are just trying to get the word out and let people know about the availability in this. It's really interesting, Olga. The best customers I have are people who have been amateur beaders, because they'll come up to the jewelry and they'll say, "Oh, that's a seed bead." And then I'll say yes, and they said, "Those are really hard to work with," and I'll say, "Yes, I know that."
Yeah, of course, must be,
and,
because every little bead is
so
done, sewn together.
That's right. And as you can see from some of these designs, each bead has to be the absolute right one to go with the design.
Yeah, absolutely.
So this particular piece, which is a brand new design of theirs.
Is this silver?
No, it's a silver bead.
A silver bead.
It's a silver bead. And the fact that
you can hardly see, they are so small.
That's right.
And they must have wonderful vision, or some big, you know, magnifying light glass, you know, so they can see what they're doing.
It's amazingly difficult. You're
It
right.
is extremely difficult. So do the people work in one area, or they work at home and they bring to cooperative? How does it work?
Well, the cooperative itself orders the beads. The lead designer, whose name is Anna Rickerby, she's British and moved to Africa to get involved in some work like this.
What is her name?
Anna Rickerby.
Rickerby.
Rickerby. She's also on YouTube, like you are. So she's the designer, and so she does the designs and then the colors. All of the jewelry comes in 9 styles. And another thing that was really important in my decision to work with them was the fact that each of the styles is named after some environmental feature. So, for example, this style is called 12 Apostles, and that's named after a mountain range near Cape Town. What I'm wearing here...
Yes, this is beautiful, what you are wearing. This is the gold and...
orange.
Yeah, very exquisite.
This is called Thousand Hills, which is another mountain range that's near Cape Town. So I really like that. So, and I love the color.
The colors are very exquisite.
Yeah,
yes.
I'd never think about that. So I needed to do a little more research on them before I decided to jump into this career. And one of the things that I asked Anna was about the wage scale and the working conditions, because I have the same concern you do about, you know, this is not sweatshop kind of work. Obviously, people who are unhappy don't produce such beautiful jewelry. So what happens is that they come to the shop there in Cape Town, and then they're handed the beads in the little packets, and then they have the designs. They've been trained how to do each of these 9 designs. And then they go home and they do the beading. Some of them will stay, most of them will go home, because they need to take care of their children and that kind of thing.
It's a cottage industry.
It's a cottage industry. But what was really interesting to me is that the quality of what they do. So there are maybe 3 or 4 women who are trained to do this particular design. This is an extremely difficult design, as you can see.
I can see. It's unbelievable.
So I worry about their eyesight as well. But not everybody can do this. So they go back and we'll do that, and then bring the pieces in, and then they're checked for the quality to make sure that they're with the design. One of the other concerns that I had was about the money. And here the women are paid based on how much work they do, and they keep the money. And we know from lots of research on women who are doing crafts in developing countries that the first thing that the money goes to is school uniforms, and then school tuition for their kids. So it's a way of lifting up a family, and you lift up enough families, you've lifted up the community, and that was important to me as well.
I think that's wonderful.
So that was kind of one of my litmus tests as well. And the last one was the wage structure. I was interested in how much the women were being paid, and I was told that they're paid about 70% more than the average wage for bead work in Cape Town. So what I'm trying to do is to introduce this beautiful jewelry here in the States, and then create enough sales so there's a very long waiting list of women who want to be trained to do the work because the wages are so good. And so I want to sell some jewelry, get some money to them. They can grow, they can train more women, and it goes on and on and on.
And how long do you already are working on? How many years you are working?
I've been doing this about a year.
Oh, but you're still young.
Thank you. Well, as I say, it's like my fourth career. I was not planning on another one until this ring showed up in my life.
And that was destiny.
Yeah, that was destiny.
Destiny ring.
Destiny is so pretty. Who knew?
Absolutely.
Right.
So do they have like somebody there who is designated to buy beads, and whatever that person thinks it will be good, and then somebody who teach them how to put together?
Yes, yes, and that's the lead designer does all of that. She does the designs, and then she also does the training for the women. So she has a very full
Did you meet this new woman?
I Skype with her.
Skype
I'm
with
hoping
them,
I'm hoping to go down next year. Cape Town last year was awarded I think it's the Design Capital.
Beautiful town.
World Design Capital for 2014. So I thought that would be a wonderful time to go there.
Yes.
Have you been fortunate enough to go there?
No, I haven't been there.
Yeah.
I haven't been, but I know people that were living there for a while. They love that. There are so many interesting opportunity there. For all kind of different jobs.
There's a very creative spirit there. I've seen some of the things that they have a little shop, Beloved Beadwork, the name of the group, has a shop in Cape Town, and the jury panel that was going to be deciding on whether they were going to be named the Design Capital came to her shop, I believe.
So those are the little bracelets. Are they stretch or not?
No, they're not.
They're not stretched.
I have one here.
But this is difficult to be stretched because this is such a tightly done that it's impossible to be stretched. Yeah, I can see that.
Most people who see these bracelets, these are called Mountain Stream. Again, they're named after some environmental, something that moved the designer.
They're beautiful on both sides.
On both sides.
They're both sides, like a right side on both sides, which, is most unusual.
People think they're made of tapestry. Don't they kind of look like it, a very intricate design? But again, because it's glass beads from Japan, it's very light in weight. And they use very, very high quality clasps. These are silver plate, everything else on the other jewelry.
And the clasp is also, from different, sources, or?
I'm not sure where they come from. They just won a grant from the Cape Town Council, and they're going to be hiring their own silversmith lately, so that they can. It's in Cape Town. It's really hard to get a lot of these supplies reliably and of the quality that they want to reflect the quality of the beading.
So mostly it's imported from Japan.
The beads are all from Japan. Either that or, depending on the colors and availability, from the Czech Republic.
I see.
And those
Czech, they're very famous.
They're very famous for their glass beads.
Oh, absolutely.
Yeah, same thing. So they do rings and bracelets and all kinds of colors. It's really fun. I tease them when I put in an order and it shows up about 3 or 4 weeks later. I say it's like Christmas morning. As I open it up, I can specify kind of a color range.
Because you know what people are looking for.
But I'm never quite sure how it's going to look once it arrives. So these are both kind of purpley pink, but they would both go beautiful with what you're wearing, but a little bit different. So it's kind of like a surprise when I open that package. But they do really lovely things. If I may just tell you about a couple of the other pieces.
Sure.
This is an interesting one. This design is called Iona Cloisters. And if you look closely, these little tubes are actually based on the pillars at the Iona Monastery in Iona Island, Scotland. And the designer did graduate work at the University of Edinburgh. And that's where she would go, I guess, with her family. So for some contemplation, and that whole image stayed with her and shows up in her beadwork.
Is it anything in it, and then the beads around, or is it all beads?
It's all beads.
Wow.
Everything is beads. There's nothing nothing else here.
Nothing to cover.
These little tubes are quite popular among amateur beaders, and I took a workshop some years ago when I was doing very amateur beading, which I have completely stopped because I can see what real beaders can do.
Yes, yes, yeah.
And it took me an hour and a half to make one tube. So I know they're much more efficient than I was, but still, you can see what goes into that. So, so that's the inspiration. This one, if I may just bring this over as well, this one is called, the design is called Infinity, and this one is the most three-dimensional of any.
See that.
If you can see that, how that goes.
Silver beads and
silver, and then some
black.
And black. Starts out with a soft gold. Anna, that I had mentioned earlier, the designer, is also an amateur mathematician. So she started out with this shape, which is based on non-Euclidean geometry.
Can you imagine how many little beads is in it? It's unbelievable. You cannot even count how many is in it.
So there's a little piece on YouTube, your favorite channel, of her playing with this design and trying to get additional surfaces. And so that's...
and how she did put together, you know, also, you know, she just continued with a few beads around, and then this is, you know, how she connects them.
Well, they make the elements separately, and you can see that how they size, they go down in size.
Yeah, it's not uniform, I see.
So it's very wearable. So they make them individually, and then they do them together.
And also you have a little chain here, so you can have a shorter or a little longer. It depends what you know,
That's
needs
exactly
is.
right. That's exactly
Are
right.
they all like that? All the necklaces with the same style?
They do, and a number of them, again, depending on supply, the clasp on this, as you can see, is little hearts. So that goes along with the name of the company, which is Beloved.
Beloved.
Beloved. So you get hearts on the clasp.
I see.
So that's and if I may tell one more story.
Of course.
Okay, Anna, the amateur mathematician. There's a famous mathematical sequence called a Fibonacci sequence, and this whole design is based on that. So I've had math teachers come up to me
and ask you how.
And I'll have it labeled Fibonacci, and they say, "Fibonacci? What did he have to do with this necklace?"
Yes,
well,
yes.
It's a matter of Fibonacci sequences where you take two numbers and the next number is the sum of the prior. So it goes 0, 1, 1, 2, 3, 5, whatever. That's as far as I go. But anyway, so the piece is named after the mathematician who again was her inspiration for the design. So I think that's one of the things that people really love about the jewelry. They get lost in the color. They get lost in the intricacy of the designs. And it just speaks to them in the same way that it spoke to me a year ago with this little ring.
And you have some bracelet there on the stand.
Yes,
So the different kind of beads.
Well, the top one is different. This is a brand new bead that they just acquired from their supplier in Japan, I believe, and it looks like rice. But the rest of these, you can see what they love color, so things come out.
Everybody likes different colors, and it has to please, you know, all these people. They are looking for something like that, very unusual.
Right.
Beads, and more beads.
These are called ocean floor, this particular design, and it looks like coral polyps or something like that. Do you see that in there?
Yes, I can see that.
So when they tell me the name, I say, well, of course that's its name.
It's a very clever name for that particular.
And what's also nice, again, and that's sort of, as you pointed out here, that the bracelets are all beads. The same is true for this bracelet, because the inside is beautifully beaded as well.
Yes, absolutely.
So, and again, because they're glass, they're very, very lightweight. So they're a pleasure to wear. So,
beautiful.
So that's the story about Beloved beadwork, and you can see why I fell in love with the jewelry.
Yes, I can see that, absolutely, because they are exquisitely done.
Thank you.
And there are beautiful colors, and actually anybody can wear it from, you know, any age. It's not particularly for any particular age. Anybody can wear it.
Right.
So who are your customers? Probably an old range of ages.
It really is, exactly. I've sold several of these to brides.
Oh yeah, that would be
perfect on a simple
yes.
dress.
Simple, beautiful for
And
the brides.
I've sold the necklace like I'm wearing, the Thousand Hills. I've sold that to women from probably 35 to 70. You know, for some women, they just want to have the necklace. For some of them, they have a particular
it's a
big
kind of,
event.
you know, it's a statement piece.
It is.
You know.
Yeah.
It's just, you know, you don't need much, you know, to be noticed in the room.
That's right. And when I sell a piece, I say to my customers, I said, be prepared to be stopped on the street.
Yes, to
because
ask you. I'm sure when you are in a restaurant wearing something like that, I'm sure people ask you, where did you get it?
That's right. So I travel with my business cards all the time, and
that's smart.
It's you know, it's so much easier to market someone else's beautiful work than my own. So it's easy for me to talk to people, and I really appreciate the opportunity to give the full story here. Usually I have 1 or 2 minutes. So
well, absolutely, that's, you know, great. And so when is your next show? Where are you going to exhibit your things the next?
Well, the next one for sure is at the World Bank. It's in November, late November. I'm looking into several other shows in the meantime.
Are you in McLean a Thanksgiving weekend? I think they have it.
They do. That's a wonderful
very good
craft show. I went there. I lived in McLean for 20 years, and I would go to that craft show. The problem is I don't make the jewelry. And those craft shows are for people who make what they sell.
I see.
So it's actually a little more difficult. I do have a website. It's www.belovedbeadwork, all one word.com.
I see.
I sell it off of there. I have been invited to submit pieces for several of the Smithsonian institutions. And the other place that we sell is art galleries. This is not street fair quality jewelry. This is much better. And it takes time. People can't look at this jewelry and appreciate it in 30 seconds as they're whizzing by in a street fair. So,
Oh, right, wonderful. So do they make it like in different colors? You know.
Oh, yes.
It's not only that they're making like in silver. They do, you know,
yes.
in
all the colors. If you can take a look back here, there are actually 9 color combinations. Here's a very popular one that includes a light blue. This is a red.
Oh, this is like one you are wearing in blue.
So all of these pieces come in 9 color palettes. So we do a lot of special orders. People, for example, a purple lover would say, gee, I'd like something that's sort of more purple than that, and I'd say we'd be happy to do that. So it's a lot of flexibility and certainly wonderful, wonderful color combinations, I think.
Yeah, I think the designer is fabulous. The lady that, you know, put them down to how to teach them also how, you know, they should work. They probably have a special needle and special thread.
Yes, that and wire. They use the 3-dimensional ones. Where did it go? Over here. This one would be made with wire in order for it to keep that 3rd dimension. But no, they're very well trained. They use top quality sterling silver. You know, this is not something that someone can make in a couple of hours on a rainy Sunday.
Yes, I'm sure.
This is much better than that. And it's interesting. One last thing I wanted to mention. When I first heard about them and checked them out, I was told by Anna. She said the first thing we did when we came together as a group is to put down a list of 10 words that we would never use in our marketing and sales. And those words are words that feed into a stereotype about women who make jewelry or other crafts in developing countries. So they never ever talk about marital status, where they're from, health status, socioeconomic status, number of children.
They just have to know how to craft, how to do it. That's most important.
And the jewelry sells itself. They're not a charity. They're very proud of the quality of the work that they do, and I like that as well.
Absolutely. Well, this is really wonderful. Well, I have to mention to you also that you can see our program on YouTube. If you type Olga Jevtich, Fashion Notes, you can see some of our program. Also, I have my own channel on YouTube that you can see, you know, mostly of our programs and all our wonderful artists that we have every time on the show. And I handpick every single person who come here with exquisite work because I thought it's interesting. And also, it's good to know what people are doing in our area, where to find them, and how to appreciate their work. And I'm really so happy that Sandra came today and show us, that she's doing such a, great work with South Africa and helping women there who probably will not earn as much money doing something else there. This is like probably the highest paid job that they could have.
Well,
Also,
yeah.
she has a designer there, and she does all this designing and ordering beads from the Japan. And also they're having training classes so the people can, the women have learn how to put this together. They can work in the cooperative, and also they can work in their own, to finish the job in their own home. And I'm sure they have a quality control, so they bring the piece, so each piece,
Absolutely.
what you see is absolutely has to be perfect with no any imperfection. So this is how it works, and I think this is a wonderful idea that you are involved in too. Like this is your fourth career, and maybe it's going to be fifth or sixth, who knows, that you may get excited about.
Yes.
You never know what life is going, to teach you.
That's exactly right, where your passion is.
And your passion, and sometimes you don't know what your passion is, that you say this ring opened the passion for you. Before that,
That's
you didn't
true.
even think about it.
That's right.
Well, we are so thankful to Sandra and for you for watching today. And so I hope we learn lots of things today about beadwork and helping women in South Africa. And also, whoever buys looks beautiful. We never have enough jewelry, as you know.
As I know.
Never enough. It's always something new. It's so exciting, to wear something new. And just wear something of her things and, very plain black dress, and you will be noticed in the room. Well, thank you very much for watching. Olga Jevtich, reporting for Fashion Notes. Till next time, please to tune in for another exciting artist from our area. I'm glad that you tune in today to learn about new artists that we, met today and chatted with her about her work, about her passion and fourth career, and it's really interesting. So it's never too late to start anything, as you know. Bye-bye.